Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2020 Toyota RAV4, we're going to be taking a look at the Hollywood Rack's destination platform style bike rack. So the rack that we have here today can hold up to a total of 2 bikes, but if you need to carry more, there's a 4 bike version available as well. So one of the main things right off the bat that I noticed about this rack is that it's going to sit up pretty high, and that's really going to help with our ground clearance, which is always important, especially on a vehicle like the RAV4. Right out of the factory, it doesn't give us a ton of ground clearance, so this really helps out. A lot of times platform style bike racks can sit pretty low, and if you say maybe do a little off-roading to get to the trail or a park, you know, a lot of times you have to kind of worry about your rack kind of dragging, and that's really not the case with this one at all. I will say that probably the second thing that came to my mind is how compact the rack is going to be. For a platform style rack, it's a little different. It kind of comes down at an angle here, and so that eliminates the need for it to be really wide and large. So it's pretty narrow, and it's compact enough that you can leave it on the back of your RAV4 whenever you're not using it, because it really won't get in your way or anything like that. So that's always nice, especially if you plan on using your rack a lot. You're not going to have to deal with pulling it on and off every time you want to go ride. So the way the rack is going to secure our bike is going to be a little bit different than most platform style racks. Each wheel is going to have a strap, which is pretty standard for platform racks, but here in the center it's going to have a clamp that grabs around your frame. So a little bit different there. Feels like it does an alright job of keeping everything secure. There's a little bit of movement, but that's kind of to be expected. With that being said, let's go ahead and take our bike off so we can take a better look at the rack itself. So the wheel straps, pretty basic stuff. Just push down on the little latch there and flip the strap out of the way. Same thing for this side. You can notice too there is a little piece of rubber on the strap, and it's actually pretty thick, believe it or not. So that's going to help protect your wheels from any scratches or anything like that. And before we take the last one off, definitely want to make sure you have a hold of your bike, because this is the last thing holding it up. So if you don't have your bike held, it could fall over and hit your Toyota, and definitely don't want to do that. So, but it works the same. A little bit trickier since you have to kind of one-hand it, but that's really all there is to it. So you take it off, and you can just kind of carefully lift it up and out of the way. So the bike out of the way, we can take a better look at this clamp. It is a little bit different. See, there's really thick rubber there. It's nice and soft. Again, we'll have that same material there on the strap. Straps are really thick. I don't really see these wearing out on you. And what's cool about this is not only is it adjustable up and down and all the way around, but this actually rotates 360 degrees too. So pretty much gonna work with just about any type of bike frame or anything like that, just because it is so adjustable. So shouldn't really have to worry about any issues like that at all. I do suggest whenever you're not using the rack, just to put all your straps back in place. That way you don't have to worry about anything happening to them. And one thing to keep in mind is the rack is going to extend the overall length of your RAV4. And if we measure to find out exactly how much, we go from the bumper here to the very edge of the rack, it'll be right at 23.5 inches. So although that doesn't take up a ton of space, it is something to think about if you're pulling into your garage or maybe even a tight parking spot. However, if you want to free that room up, this does fold into a stored position, and it's somewhat easy. It does take a little time, but not anything crazy. If we loosen up this knob, we're able to fold the center mass down. So then if we move right here, we're going to have a pin. Pull that out, and on the other side of it, there's going to be a knob. So if we just unscrew that, we'll pull that out, and then we can just fold the rack into that upright position. We'll just repeat the same thing. We'll put that knob back in and snug it down, because if you plan on traveling with it in this position, which most people would, you want it to be secure. So without putting that back in there, it could move around on you. But as you can see, like this, it really does save a ton of space. So it looks like on the edges here, that's where it's going to stick out the most. So that's where I'll measure. Go from the hatch right there to the very edge. It's going to be right at 13.5 inches. So this position, really don't see it giving you any issues at all when you're pulling into your garage at that tight spot. So rack is going to work with the 1.25" by 1.25" receiver tube openings like we have here today on our RAV4, but it's also going to have the ability to work with the larger 2" by 2" hitches. So it gives us a couple different options there and some versatility. It's also going to come included with an anti-rattle bolt. That's going to eliminate any slop or play in the connection point there, really helping to maintain that quiet Toyota ride on the inside of a RAV4, and it does help provide our bikes with a little more of a smooth ride as well. So to kind of give you an example on how that works, say if we're going down the road, hitting some bumps, you can see that the rack is going to move with our RAV4 and not on its own. And that'll finish up our look at of the Hollywood Racks Destination Platform Style Bike Rack on our 2020 Toyota RAV4.